Real estate is India's obsession. It's the most preferred asset class for investment for almost 60% of Indians. It's where families pour their savings. But every conversation sounds the same. Which flat should I buy? Which city has the best appreciation? But here's the twist. While everyone's busy chasing apartments, the real money is in commercial real estate. This is where global funds pour in billions, where rental yields double or triple residential, and where tenants aren't families who can move overnight. They're corporations locked into contracts worth crores. CRE is the engine that builds skylines and fortunes. And in the next 9 minutes, we'll break down everything you need to know about it. The players, the categories, the risks, the opportunities. This is the game behind the buildings. Before we get started, subscribe and hit the bell. First things first, what is commercial real estate? Simply put, CRE includes properties that businesses occupy for work, trade, or storage. Think of office buildings, retail outlets, warehouses, co-working spaces, even hotels or food courts. So unlike your home, which is residential, CRE serves income-generating purposes. Now let's get to the fun part. How does CRE actually make you money? There are 3 engines at work. First, rental yield. This is simply the rent you earn each year divided by the property's value. In India, commercial rental yields usually sit between 7% to 11%, depending on the city and the quality of the tenant. Imagine you buy an office space in Noida for 1 crore. If you lease it out for rupees 6 lakhs a year, that's a 6% rental yield. In prime hubs like BKC or Cyber City, commercial rents often clock 7 to 9% yields, while residential averages just 2 to 3%. That's a gap big enough to explain why many serious investors quietly prefer offices to apartments. Second, lease escalations. Commercial leases usually build in annual rent hikes, say 5%. For example, if you're earning rupees 1 lakh a month in rent today, next year that goes up to rupees 1,05,000 without buying another property. Over a 9-year lease, those increments add up to a significant bump in your total income. Third, capital appreciation. Over time, as the area develops and demand rises, the property itself goes up in value. A rupee 1 crore office bought today could easily be worth rupees 1.3 crore in 5 years, delivering around 30% appreciation. Now you might wonder, how does commercial real estate compare to residential? Residential is easier to enter. You can start with rupees 30 to 40 lakh. Commercial often requires crores and a lot of land. Then there's the difference in returns. Residential returns give you just 2 to 4% yield in India. Like we explained earlier, commercial often generates 7 to 9%, sometimes even more in premium hubs. Lease terms also differ. Residential tenants sign for 11 months at a time and can leave suddenly. Commercial leases lock tenants in for 3 to 9 years, sometimes with a lock-in period where they can't vacate. And finally, tenant quality. A family renting your flat may lose a job or decide to move. But when Infosys, Microsoft, or a retail chain signs a commercial lease, they've got legal obligations, employees, and reputations on the line. So yes, CRE demands more capital and due diligence, but it rewards you with higher yields and stronger tenants. So if residential and commercial are 2 very different games, you might be wondering who's actually playing on the commercial side. Because unlike buying a flat, here the ecosystem is filled with heavyweights, each with their own motivations and resources. At the very top, you have developers and institutional investors. These are the people who shape skylines. They take the biggest risks, putting in thousands of crores, but they also create the platforms where the rest of the ecosystem operates. Backing them are private equity funds and sovereign wealth giants, names like Blackstone, Brookfield, and GIC. They're the quiet powerhouses, pumping billions into India's commercial real estate, often buying into these projects or seeding entire platforms that later get listed as REITs. Then, of course, there are the ultra-high net worth individuals and family offices. They still buy trophy assets outright, office towers, business parks, even entire malls. For them, CRE is both a long-term wealth store and a status symbol. But none of this works without the tenants, the corporate occupiers. When companies like Infosys, Microsoft, or retail chains like H&M sign leases that lock them in for 5 to 9 years, they create the stability that makes the whole system investable. They are the demand side and in many ways the ultimate anchor of the ecosystem. And finally, don't forget the banks and regulators. Banks and NBFCs fund construction and offer lease rental financing, while SEBI and RERA set the rules for REITs and investor protections. Without them, the entire system would wobble. Now let's break down the major commercial real estate categories and their characteristics. First, office spaces are divided into Grade A, B, and C properties. Grade A are the top-tier buildings in prime districts with modern amenities and strong tenants. Think BKC in Mumbai. Grade B are functional but less premium, often in secondary business districts. Grade C are older stock with limited amenities, typically attracting smaller company. The grade often determines both rent and tenant profile. Next, we have retail properties that range from high street shops to mall spaces. Location is everything. A shop in Khan Market, Delhi commands monthly rents above Rs 1,000 per square foot, among the highest in India. Third is warehousing and logistics properties, which are currently booming. India's organized warehousing stock is expected to double to 400 million square feet by 2025. Last mile delivery centers, fulfillment centers, and cold storage facilities each serve specific market needs. Next, our industrial properties house manufacturing and processing facilities. India's industrial and warehousing stock is expected to cross 300 million square foot by 2025, led by demand from auto, pharma, and electronic sectors. Let's be honest about the challenges. Commercial real estate isn't a guaranteed money-making machine. Several risks can impact your returns. Vacancy risk is a big one. The empty space equals zero income. Even in Pune in 2025, leasing surged thanks to GCCs, but new supply spiked too, leading to rising rents and vacancies. Second, illiquidity. Selling a commercial building takes time, and finding a buyer isn't easy. But REITs, real estate investment trusts, are changing that. Think of them as mutual funds for property. Lastly, market cycles affect commercial real estate just like other assets. During economic downturns, businesses cut costs, downsize, or close entirely. The COVID-19 pandemic showed this dramatically. Many office and retail tenants struggled with rent payments or demanded concessions. So, as a curious beginner, how can you get started? If you want exposure without headaches, REITs are the easiest entry point. Buy them like shares and you earn dividends, typically 6 to 7% plus appreciation, often blending into 10 to 12% returns. So here's the big takeaway. Commercial real estate is not a flashy overnight jackpot. It's a steady compounding asset class that's critical to the long-term India story. It offers better yields than residential, stable long-term tenants, and built-in growth through escalations and appreciation. Yes, the entry is bigger and the risks are real, but managed wisely, CRE is one of the most reliable ways to build cash flow in India today. And remember, this channel is your go-to platform to unpack the why and how of India's commercial real estate. Whether it's micro-market deep dives, investor playbooks, or the real stories behind rising office hubs. If you're eager to stay ahead of the curve, hit subscribe now and let's figure out India's next generation of opportunity, one micro market at a time.